everyone. My name is Dylan, and you are tuned into yet another episode of Can't Get You Out of My Head, the podcast that's dedicated to all the songs that we just can't seem to shake. This week, I'm joined by an extra special guest. This incredible human has been one of my musical collaborators since the very beginning. He's helped me write a multitude of songs uh, and has lent his pen to many a piece of art.
Yes.
Everyone, please welcome James Derry'l.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Of course. How's it going?
It's going really well. A happy day today. Just easy breezy.
Happy Sunday to ya. So, this is your first time on the pod. Welcome.
It is. It is. It's my first time as a guest on a pod, I think.
Exciting. It's a lot of fun
Yeah.
doing a podcast. I mean, you get to talk shit, express your opinions, and people can choose to listen to them or not.
Right. I usually host, so it's new for me to be on the opposite
Uh,
side. Yeah. So it's cool.
so when you say you host, what do you usually do?
So I do a Big Brother podcast every summer.
Okay.
Yeah. And I've been doing it for
Okay.
like 7 years. It's called Julie Girl, but she's kind of on a hiatus right now, trying to figure out what we're gonna do. I've always wanted to do a music podcast too, so I'm trying to see,
Uh-huh.
what direction I want to take and maybe some transitioning into new areas. So trying to figure that out now.
All right. Well, I mean, this podcast is dedicated to songs, whether it be current or old, that you just cannot seem to stop listening to. You wake up with them in your head. You go to sleep singing them. We all have
Yes.
them. We all have them.
Maybe too many.
Right. Sometimes it's Taylor Dane. Sometimes it's Marilyn Manson. There's really no rhyme or reason to it. But uh, I'll go first in this. So my pick for the week is actually a girl named Griff. Have you ever heard of her?
I have.
Ah, stunning. So, for everyone who hasn't, she is this adorable British singer-songwriter who is slowly rising up the ranks of fame in the pop world. She just released a new EP a couple of weeks, probably 2 weeks ago, and there's a song on there called "Miss Me Too" that I cannot stop listening to. It's
Mm,
she's not the most boisterous vocalist. She tends to sort of stay in a limited range, but it also really works for her.
for sure.
She's not a big belter. She doesn't have to be. Just the way that she writes is more than enough to convey the story as opposed to having to do the vocal acrobatics to do all the heavy lifting. Uh,
Absolutely.
and even the video for Miss Me Too just came out. And when I saw it, I was just like, this is art because
Mm,
it's the song, but it's like there's choreographed dancing in it, and you hear the footsteps of the dancers, and there's a part where they all scream, and it's intertwined with the music so perfectly. It's like this is incredible, and everyone that I've shown it to has had the same reaction where they just watch it, and then when it ends, they're like, "That's really fucking good."
yes, Miss Griff.
And I actually discovered her um, when she did this song "Head on Fire" with Sigrid, who is Swedish? Question mark. She's another European singer-songwriter, and they did a cute little duet. Uh, "Head on Fire." It's another great. They just do it so good over in Europe. I don't understand what it is
They
in the
really do.
water, especially like Sweden, that area. You cannot touch the pop music that comes out of there. You just can't.
Absolutely not.
You
Sometimes I
can't.
feel like there's a pretense to Americans, like we just know what we're looking for, and I don't always get that from British artists. Like there's just like an easy just flow with them,
Uh-huh.
and like there's a real heart that sometimes I miss from American artists.
American pop is a little surface.
For
Because I
sure.
mean, even just looking up the lyrics for "Miss Me Too," uh, the chorus is, "I miss talking to the bathroom floor. I miss staring at the ceiling because it felt so tall. I miss sleeping to the sounds of the kid next door. I'll miss me. I'll miss me too." Just like
That's beautiful. It's so visual. I love that. I her song Vertigo is the one that I really connected to. And it
Tell
made
the
me
high,
really look
that's
into her.
vertigo. You
Yeah, it's
wanna
so
lights,
good.
go see a show. You wanted
So
lights, go
good.
see a show. That is so good. He has another song called Astronaut. Uh, it's on the EP prior to this one. But the hook is something like, if you wanted space, well, then go on, then astronaut.
Girl, get a rocket.
She said, go on, astronaut, if you want some space. But said in such, it's a piano ballad, so it's pulling at the heartstrings. And you're just like, oh my God, I've been that girl before.
Beautiful.
And so, for everyone who doesn't know Griff, go check her out. She's got, I think, 4 EPs at this point. Um, also check out Sigrid, also another great one. Yeah, just delve into European pop. I mean, come on. There's a reason that Eurovision has worked for 60 years and the American Song Contest lasted 1 season.
Absolutely. I also love that I was really intrigued by Griff because there aren't many black girls that sing music like this.
Yes.
And for her to be half Jamaican, half Chinese, I was like, this is such a cool blend
Yes.
of cultures. And like I'm really intrigued to see what you bring to the table because I couldn't place that anywhere else.
Mm-mm. And I mean, I think she just finished opening for Coldplay on their tour.
Mm,
And it's like, that's not a small thing.
not at
Like,
all. It's
while
a very
I can't sit here
unique
and say
spot
I'm the
too.
biggest Coldplay fan, like they're big time. They played the fucking Super Bowl.
Absolutely. Coldplay is massive. That's a big look.
Mm,
You wouldn't agree?
not in my personal world.
Well, we can't look at our own worlds. We have to look at the world. Coldplay is like a monument
Yeah,
in
yeah,
that in their sector.
yeah, and that's why it's like getting to open for them is a like good
Absolutely. That's
on
a
you,
really cool
girl.
look.
Good on you.
Yes, Miss Griff.
So, what have you been listening to, good sir?
So for me, I have really been obsessed with Tori Kelly's record and specifically the song Oceans. It
Okay.
is an absolutely gorgeous record. And her just, I mean, first and foremost, Tori Kelly is a vocalist through and through. Like you don't get much better in pop music when it comes to vocals than what Tori Kelly's providing. And the song Oceans is such a emotional moment. And I'm really intrigued by the way that she has blended the idea of singing about a relationship, but also making it religious in a way too. And
Okay.
so my first listen to the song, it felt as if she was, singing about her husband or, a relationship in general, but the bigger picture is she's singing towards God and singing towards like a higher power. And so it's just really cool the way that she's blended this
Yes.
without being too heavy-handed, but like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
also the vocals, like the runs that she does and just the choices that she makes are so beautiful. And the whole album is great, but that song specifically is the one that really pulled me in and was like, Miss Tori, you got me again, girl. It's really
A
great.
couple of weeks ago, we actually talked about uh, both how Kelly Clarkson and Rihanna both have songs that if you didn't know that they were geared towards like a religious concept, you wouldn't necessarily pin it. But like
Like what?
Kelly has the song Irvine off of My
Okay.
December, which is her letter to God from the bathroom or whatever.
Right.
And then Rihanna has Mother Mary off the
Mm.
Unapologetic
Swear I
album.
want to change. I love that song.
It was my first time hearing it.
Really.
I didn't, I guess, didn't do a deep dive enough into Rihanna's. I'm more of a singles kind of girl when it comes to Rihanna.
Mm. See, I'm an albums. I think Rihanna has the best catalog in pop music, and
Really?
I do. I think her albums have all been really solid. She hasn't put out anything that is like not up to par for me,
Hmm.
and they've all gotten better as time has gone on. And yeah, I think she has an extremely strong catalog that I wish she had gotten to a greatest hits moment because I was ready to see what they put together for that because it just deserved so much, I thought.
Okay, what's your favorite Rihanna album? And
Rated
why
R.
is it rated R?
It is. Because I mean, artists that go through a transition and
Hmm.
they grow and the maturity comes into play. Like this was the first time Rihanna was really cussing and really
Yep.
like in her just like in her baddie era, like she really transformed in that moment. And
They
I
can
hate
say
that it took
whatever. I'ma do
I hate that
whatever.
it took so much like turmoil in her life to
Right.
push the music in that direction, but that album is so special. And James Fauntleroy is one of my favorite writers, and their collaborations have always been like such a beautiful place for me. And I'm a big Justin Timberlake fan. Oh, hey, puppy. I'm a big Justin Timberlake fan. I'm cracking up that the dog bark when I mention Justin. Everybody barking at Justin these days. Like, let him live. Uh, but yeah, I love that record. And
As soon as she came out with like the swoop hair over one eye, I was like, oh,
ugh,
we're about to
a moment. I was
we're about
watching
to get it.
something. I don't remember what I flat. Maybe it was old drag, like maybe Drag Race season one, and they kept referencing Rihanna and like her hairdos, and like it was so interesting to go back to a decade ago or
Mhm.
more and seeing how impactful just her image was at the time, and
Oh, I mean,
everything worked for
she's
her.
been that fashion girl for, I mean, since the beginning, really.
Yeah, it's amazing to see. I miss her, but I'm hoping she's getting the rest and the focus that she needs and
I mean, she
take with
keeps
those
on popping
beautiful
out them
babies.
babies.
Right. I love it for her. She gave us a lot for a long time, so I'm not mad.
The bitch gave us 8 albums in 8 years.
Yeah.
What do we have to be mad about?
I was mad for a moment, but I definitely let that go just because she deserves whatever she wants.
I mean, it's one of those things that like I don't care where I'm at. If I hear the beginning of doom 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 doom,
Oh.
it's done. It's done.
Mine is only girl. That la, la, la,
Okay.
la. I go up. I love
Da,
that
da,
song.
da, da. Hmm.
Such a just yes, I
I
love
mean,
that song.
Disturbia. I mean, nah, nah, nah. Come on. Okay. All right.
There needs to be a podcast simply about the intro to Rihanna songs.
Hey, that might be an episode.
She
We
has
have
some great
yet,
ones. Uh-huh,
I
uh-huh.
feel like we have
Yeah.
talked about Rihanna so many times, but we have yet to do like a Rihanna episode. Because we did one
Mm.
for Cowboy Carter when that came out. We are like, we're just doing a track by
Oh,
track dissection, discussion, and dissemination.
yes. Don't get
Yes.
me started on Cowboy Carter now.
Get started. Tell me about Cowboy Carter. What's your favorite?
My
And why
favorite is
is it
Dog.
Yaya?
Oh, no, it's not.
Oh!
I love Yaya, but Daughter is so immaculate. And
Mm.
Protector is like I think it's my favorite lyric on the album. It is beautiful. And I've really been obsessed. This was gonna be my answer for what I'm listening to now, but Two Hands to Heaven has been on repeat for me. Like it is
Okay.
just so it just lifts me. It's so good. But yeah, I really love Cowboy Carter.
The only disappointment that I have with that album is that they totally teased Telephone Part 2 with
Yeah, they did.
Gaga driving the truck around promoting the album. They said, ooh, there's a duet called Two Most Wanted.
It would have been perfect,
And
honestly.
then you get
But
Miley.
it was us. Like we put that on them. Like we come to these conclusions and then we get mad when what our brain said does not come to fruition. And it's like, girl, that was
That's
our brains.
that's
Beyonce ain't got
yep,
nothing to do with that.
yep. It's like she's out here doing her best, and we're making up stories and imposing upon her.
And we do it so well.
Don't we though?
She was that people were saying she's gonna perform it at a Stagecoach. Did she? No.
I did hear that, and that did
Mm-hmm.
not happen.
It did
She is gonna
not.
win Album of the Year.
Do you think?
Yes. Like
I
all
would
signs
love
are
that.
pointing to that direction. Like because this is such a genre shattering moment that she's finally, and it's like, what a slap in the face to have to switch genres essentially in order to finally win the category that you've been nominated for the most times.
And that's what will be bittersweet about it is that she would have to go into a predominantly white category and shake the table the way that she has
Mhm.
to get the recognition when she has put out monumental after monumental album for the past 3 or 4 cycles. And it's been hard to see her not get rewarded because she's doing work in a way that other artists are not,
Or not.
and seeing how much quality, like true quality, she's injecting into these projects. We don't
Mhm.
see a lot of artists put that much love and heart into the work that they're doing, so
Mhm.
I need her to be recognized, but I kind of hate that if she is recognized, it's going to be like, oh, Jay-Z said something about it at the Grammys, so that's why they're giving it to her now, or blah blah blah. But it is what it is. I'm
And
just,
it's
I'm worried about Miss Poetry Lady because she has this monstrous album out right now, and
Poetry Lady. What does
Taylor
that mean?
Swift.
Oh, oh.
Because I
No, because
mean,
Taylor beat Beyonce already, so the storyline is going to
with
be
Midnights,
the switch.
I was I enjoyed Midnights, but Renaissance was it was amazing from top to bottom.
Yeah.
And I don't know. We'll see what happens. I would love to see it. I'm not going to get my hopes up because I don't trust people and their taste levels,
It's
but
so it's
we'll
interesting
see.
though. It's interesting that people there almost has to be like statements made in order for some change to come about within the music world. Because like, for example, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominees finally came out, and Cher is included on that list 4 months
Hmm.
after she went on a talk show and said, "Fuck you
Mm,
guys, I will never be a part of this." And all of a sudden they're like, "Burp, burp, 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 "We want Cher."
right.
Where was this in the 90s, the 2000s, the 2010s? Like, why did it take you 60 plus years to recognize this woman, but you have Eminem in there? Make it make
It's
sense.
interesting
Make it make
because
sense.
I'm still offended that Mariah wasn't inducted this year, or you know,
Yeah.
chosen to be inducted. She's been
Especially when
eligible
she
for
writes the way that
years.
she does.
She's so underrated in so many ways. I went and saw her in Vegas last weekend, and it was just so,
How was
so
that?
great. It was great. And, Mariah's in a place now where she can do whatever she wants to do, and I'm going to
Right.
live. But I loved the show that she put together. And I thought that it was such a great set list and such a beautiful way to showcase some songs that like fans love. And I loved it. I'm a massive lamb.
How were the vocals? Because
The
that's
vocals were good, and
but
that's
we
that's
stand
always the
Mariah, but
question.
sometimes the vocals are questionable.
And she's allowed to have question marks when she wants them. And I I just go and appreciate what she's providing to me. I don't ask too many questions,
Fair.
but I thought that they did a great job at blending the live vocals with the pre-recorded vocals and like making it work in kind of a seamless way where I was just enjoying the music. I wasn't like really trying to hone in on what was what.
Uh-huh.
And there was nothing so egregious that I was like, no, hold up, what is going on here?
Because I
So
mean,
no,
whenever
it
it
was
gets to
it was
"We
a good
Belong
show.
Together," when you left, I lost a part of me. That high part, it's always
Yeah.
like a, ooh,
See, the
you
one
hold
that's
your
hard
breath
for
there.
me is My All because she changes the key, and so it kind of changes the progression of the song.
Okay.
But even that, I've gotten used to the new rendition.
Uh-huh.
But no, I love Mariah.
I mean, I went to go see Six the musical a
Oh
couple of
yeah, I've
like.
heard about this so much. So many
Have
people
you
have
not
told me
seen
I
it
need to
yet?
see it.
Holy
No,
shit, it is so good. We saw it 3 times, and it was only
really?
here for 5 days. Uh,
Oh wow. You said we are staying at the theater.
we're just gonna climb into the rafters. Uh, but the first night that we saw it, the cast was great, and it's the six wives of Henry VIII, and in the very first song, the fifth wife, on her very first line, had a vocal crack, and it was
Oh,
like,
bless.
oh no,
It
oh
was giving
no.
Alicia Keys at the Super Bowl. I'm going to Lovers and Friends this coming weekend, and
Uh-huh.
Alicia's performing, and I love Alicia, but after that Super Bowl crack, I was just like, I don't know what to expect.
Vocal cracks. She's a studio girl.
Bless.
She's not like there's that clip of Nikki and Alicia doing a song together. And it's like Nikki's rapping
Girl
and
on
rapping and rapping.
Fire. Ugh.
And then Alicia comes in with this girl, but like this cracked.
I remember that.
Like, mama, you have one job. Uh, but no, it's when it got to her song, the fifth wife, she kept having to stop halfway through the phrase to like clear her throat or catch her breath and started to get like visibly frustrated.
Mm.
Um, and so I mean it's not like conventional theater where you sit there and just clap at the end of the number and you're like it's meant to come across as a concert. So
Mm.
the audience started feeding to her like, you can do this, go girl. Like
Oh.
it was very sweet to watch. uh, and then I think she went and got like a B, a B vitamin shot or something, because the second time we saw it, mama
So much
was
better.
in the pocket, in
Work.
the pocket. But yeah, if it comes to the West Coast, please go check it out.
I definitely will try. I'm not
I've
the
seen a lot
biggest
of theater,
musical person
but
though.
it's only 80 minutes, yo. Like it's not even like a 2.5 hour long show.
Only
It is 80 minutes, it's 10 songs. You walk away from it actually learning something, and each one of the songs is stylized
like a
like for a
pop girl,
different.
right?
Yeah, so it's like number one is Beyonce, number two is like Avril Lavigne,
Oh.
three is Adele, four is her. I'm blanking. Number five is Britney, and number six is like Alicia Keys.
Okay.
And
That
so
sounds very interesting.
it is good, good. So go check it out.
I'll put it on my
Yep.
radar.
We're gonna take a break and be right back with some music news. This is gonna be fun.
Child, let's get into it.
Baby, we got a lot to talk about.
I love the read.
I listen to them every, like my co-host turned me on to them, and I've been listening to them for 4 months. And it's just like they have.
Really, I've been listening to the read since like 2012, like since day one.
And
And
it's like they've been around
no,
for
they're
11
amazing.
years. That is
They're
bananas.
they are pioneers in
Yeah.
like the pop culture podcast space. They are fantastic. And their
Yes.
whole group of friends, the friend zone, and all the whole team is just fantastic.
Yeah. That's goals. That's like let's aspire
And
to
I
get
love
there.
when people have good friend groups. Everybody has their own podcast, and there's room for everybody. It's beautiful.
I mean, well, if you got something to say, get a microphone and say it. Yes.
Absolutely. Unless it's something stupid, then we don't need to hear it.
We don't need to hear it, Megan Kelly.
Period.
All right, we are back with Can't Get You Out of My Head. I'm here with my extra special guest, James Derry'l. We are talking about all the songs that we just can't stop listening. Oh, you mentioned Tori Kelly, and I wanted to say
Yes.
earlier, uh, I would love, like, I make up dream duets in my head,
Hmm.
and I would love to hear a duet between Tori Kelly and Jessie J.
Oh, okay.
Give me, because Tori's a little higher, Jessie's a little huskier, but like
For
both can do
sure.
the incredible acrobatics. That would be insanity.
They would be do great together. Jesse's on tour right now, and I wanted to go
Is
see her
she?
show. She's doing like an acoustic tour, and
Dang.
yeah, the tickets were sold out in LA already though. So I was
It's,
like, well, girl, but
I don't even
no,
think
she's
she's coming to,
fantastic.
I don't even think she's coming to the East Coast.
I just randomly happened upon it, so I'm not sure if it's like a full tour or if she's just doing certain cities or what it is. But
Jessie.
yeah, she's doing some shows. But I love Tori's voice, and I would love to hear her do more duets in like a forward way, not just like a passive way. Because sometimes I feel like she finds herself into duets that or just collaborations that aren't always in the forefront. or they're
Mhm.
like for Sing, like the animated movie that she's a part of
Oh
and stuff like
yeah.
that. But no, I would love to see her do more collaborations. I know she did a collaboration with Jojo, but I wanted to hear like them doing a song together and not like a cover.
I do. So obviously we're Instagram friends and I keep try to keep up with your life. But I was telling my co-host that you're friends with Jojo.
I know her. Yeah.
You guys are best friends. Like, how
Not
did that
best
even come
friends.
about? How did you get to know Jojo? Because that's such a strange, not maybe strange, but like that's so outside of my normal world to be like, oh yeah, celebrity, got it.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a massive fan.
Hmm.
Um and but LA is just also a weird place where especially working in the music industry, you just,
Hmm.
run into people and you have mutual friends and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's just one of those things where life just kind of finds itself in that place and it's kind of wild on one side, but also very normal on the other side.
Hmm.
So yeah, but no, she's fantastic and is such a talent.
I mean, you can't touch the voice.
Not at
You
all. That girl
cannot
can
touch it.
blow.
Mm. Like there was the video of her with Boys to Men back, I think backstage
Yes.
somewhere, just like it's just not fair to have that much talent.
I know. I love when she got to go to Mariah's show and sing like they did like she used to do backstage like vocals with
Hmm.
whoever was in the audience or different things like that. And
Hmm.
they did one of my favorite songs, Everything Fades Away, and heard them doing the background vocals was just like so dope to see.
Oh, especially after like sort of what happened to her with
Yes.
the label and all that bullshit. You know, obviously it's past her. She's grown up now, but I'm proud of her.
She deserves, and hopefully she's supposed to be putting out a book later this year too. So it's
Ooh, is
gonna
it a
be
tell
great
all?
to hopefully we get all the tea. So no, it should be really great. She has an amazing story and I think people can resonate with it. So I'm excited for whatever that looks like for her.
Stunning. That's gonna be fun. I've recently been getting into audiobooks and just
Oh, me
like
too. Especially since Spotify now offers them with the premium plan. I was like, let me get into some books.
mm-hmm. Listen to RuPaul's book.
I did
Uh,
too, which was so great. You didn't like it?
there
What did you
moments,
expect?
there were moments where I was like, okay, Miss Paul.
Like what?
Like within the first 4 minutes when she says, I rented a bike and I rode it around Atlanta. Let me tell you what you're not gonna do in Atlanta. You are not riding a bike around this city because it's not that kind of city.
Hilarious. Well, I don't know all that information, so I just breezed
Take it
right
from
by
somebody
me.
who lives here. This is not a bikeable city, especially not a celebrity of that caliber. You're
Yeah.
going to be in a car in the air conditioning.
I
And we're
just
not
thought the story was great from like the perspective of who Rue was before Rue was who we know Rue to be now. And so just to
fair.
get all of that story and to see it through those eyes of someone hungry for more and
Mm-hmm.
seeing where it led them and the people in his life that supported him and didn't support him and all of the ups and downs and just I don't know, I thought it was a really interesting view into a world that we already thought we knew in a sense. It just
Yeah.
felt different to me and it felt so warm and encouraging, and I really enjoyed it.
Did you listen to Barbara Streisand's book called 48
Not
Hours and
yet.
27? It took me,
48
it
hours.
is 48 hours.
The lady had a lot to say. I mean, but what a life though. Like I last year I got
40.
so obsessed with the Guilty album
Mm-hmm.
and I literally listened to
It's
it like
nothing to be
nonstop.
guilty of.
Don't get me
Our
started. It
lives
is an
with
amazing,
having
it's
in
one of my favorite.
nothing.
It's so good. It's so
I mean,
good. Every song.
woman in
Um,
love, you can't touch that. I am
don't
woman in
woman
love.
in love.
Mm, mm.
It's so good. It's so
She talks about that
I'm
album.
obsessed.
She
I've
booked.
gotta check it out then. But no, I was so obsessed. It was like in my top five on Spotify Wrapped last year because I just could not put it down. And it
Hmm.
was an album I knew since I was a kid. And I was like, why suddenly is this album so important to me? It was great though.
Isn't that funny how that works? Sometimes it's like, why has this come back into my orbit?
Right.
Couldn't tell you, but here it is. Now we're listening to Barbara Streisand, and Barbara Streisand hits different in your 30s.
Maybe that's what it
Maybe
is.
that's what it is.
Maybe.
Because I mean,
So,
frankly, I didn't know about the album until the book. There was so
oh,
much about
really?
her body of work that I was not aware of until
And
it.
see, that's what I need to know because I'm like I said, I'm not the biggest musical person. I don't know much about Broadway. I don't know
Mhm,
much. I'm not the biggest movie buff.
mhm,
So a lot of that goes over my head sometimes.
mhm,
And I like to get a full sense of who someone is and seeing their full body of work. And I love when books and documentaries come out because it gives you such an overview to really get in. Like the Bee Gees documentary was that for me too. And
mhm.
uh Barry Gibb doing Guilty with her and just the whole collaboration of it all in that time period. It's and I love the ebbs and flows of an artist. I love when
Yeah.
you have a success and then you have a down and then you find something new and then you collaborate with a new artist and like there's just always these things that you can find to pick yourself up and find something new. And I love
Mhm.
seeing the fullness of somebody's career.
Yeah, in the book, she mentions that she was working on Yentl at the time
Mm,
of uh, that album with the label was sort of pressuring her to do it. She was like, well, Barry Gibb just floated down from heaven with his long hair and furry chest and said, "Hey, Barbara, do you want an album?" And I said, "Yes, go." And
absolutely.
so it's like Barry just kind of manifested when she needed it.
It happens that way. We love to see it.
We love to see it. All right. So we're here with some music news, as we promised, and went on a tangent about stuff. So,
What's going on in music?
so I'm gonna say the theme of this week is people putting their foot in their mouth for things
Hate
that
to
they
see
just
that.
shouldn't.
Mm.
For example, Miss Miss Siwa, Miss the other Jojo, has gone from being a dancer to being a musician, and has apparently she was quoted as saying that she is helping to create a new genre of music called gay pop.
Bless the children.
I believe the children are the future. Somebody needs to.
We thought.
I mean, it's like, okay, if you've created gay pop, there are several people that would like to have a word with you. There's Troye Sivan, there's Billy Porter, there's Chappell Roan, there's Kylie fucking Minogue, whose entire career
Hello.
has literally been gay pop.
There's Gaga. There's so many.
What is this child? What are the children doing?
I appreciate what Miss JoJo is doing. I love that the youth of today has someone, even though she might be a little out there, she might be doing a lot. I love that she can just be herself and do this and transition out of being a child star and, step into her fullness. But I also think she's doing a lot. And I'm like, who do you have around you that is not guiding you? Because if you are going to be in the space, I would love for you to be a little educated on what you're stepping into. And especially if you're going to try to write over what has already been written.
Because I mean, speaking of writing, that song is a cover. That song was written in 2012.
It
It
sounds
was
like it.
recorded by a different artist.
Who recorded it before?
Oh God, who recorded it?
And
Another
she's with you right now.
female. And it's just like I don't understand why. It same kind of goes for Miley Cyrus. When they get out of they sort of try to age out of the childhood thing. It feels like
Hmm.
they have to take a really hard left swing into like super controversial territory. Like,
Right.
why, okay, why in this video are you making out with girls? Are you dressed like Gene Simmons from Kiss? Like, there's so many factors that I'm just like, I don't quite understand.
It's a lot, and it's not very clear. It doesn't have a lot of legs. I don't know what she wants out of it. And not everybody can be Christina Aguilera during Stripped. So, if you're gonna do it, let's do it right.
I have a feeling that this foray into music might be her only
Might be her what?
might be her only attempt at it because it's not so bad that it's a Rebecca Black Friday moment and people are loving it because of how bad it is. It's
Yeah, it's not camp enough, I don't
not
think.
quite good.
Yeah, I people have been there are some people that I've seen cling to it a little bit, but that lasted maybe a week or so. I haven't seen much conversation about it since, but I do think she's gonna try again. I
You
I
think
think
so?
that yeah, because she's made music in the past, but I don't think she's made like serious music in the
Uh-huh.
past. But I think she'll try again. And I would like
So
to see her actually try in an interesting way. Like she definitely is in a space where she could evolve into something else and create something for herself, but she needs to bring a little bit of clarity and like seriousness to it, but
yeah,
still fun. And she can still be, in the same realm, but like give it a real good go.
because I mean, also if you're gonna go the gay route, like if you want to talk from a gay perspective, that if I'm looking at just the song tells me nothing
Yeah.
about you as a gay woman. And the person that I picked for my recommendation, I'll talk about them at the end. They do a very good job as a gay woman of sort of interspersing their own personal narrative into
Hmm.
fun pop music. So the song was originally recorded by an artist named Brittany Smith or Britt Smith. Um, she was under the label Rock Mafia, and then quit
Mm.
the industry in 2013 after her first three singles underperformed. But
Wild. I was gonna say it sounds like Can't Be Tamed Air Miley, which hello, that's
very
what it
that,
is.
very
Yeah.
that. But she promised since the release of the song has gone viral on TikTok and YouTube, she plans to come back out into the music biz.
Oh,
So
the girl that recorded it
yeah,
originally.
yeah.
Okay.
So
We
like,
love
all
to
right,
see
Miss
it.
Britt Smith, come get your coins. Get your
Yes.
cointadas. The other person that has stuck their foot in their mouth, this one hurt a little bit because I root for her.
Mm.
We stand her on this podcast. She's Aston's favorite artist, Jill Scott.
Love me some Jill. And I'm conflicted on this situation, honestly.
It's I think it's the okay. So for everyone who doesn't know, on an unprompted April evening, Miss Jill Scott tweeted, "At Chris Brown is amazing. How does anybody sing like that? Dance, look, act, and rap like that. Beyond gifted. It appears exceptional people have to go through exceptional fire. There's nothing to debate."
Oh,
Okay,
Jilly from
okay.
Philly.
So Jilly from Philly, why? So there's a lot of people that you could go to bat for who say that they can dance, they can sing, they can look, they can rap, they can do all these things. Chris Brown?
So that was my thing. I initially I don't know if I felt like she was going to bat for him because honestly, I feel like what she said was a fact. I think Chris is talented. I'm not a
Very.
fan of Chris anymore. I used to be a fan, but I don't really use him like that these days. But
Uh-huh.
I can imagine seeing his response to Quavo in that beef situation and not realizing that he could rap the way that he can rap and be like, so this guy is a rapper, he can sing, he can dance the way he does. He is
Hmm.
very talented. Like that to me is a thought that does not come off as controversial.
No.
Uh adding the you have to go through extreme fire part is like, no, girl, no, you don't always have like, no, that's
No,
definitely
you
not
don't
the
have to
case.
go through all that.
I wish she would have left that part off and just said he's talented, he's gifted, and all of these other things.
Hmm.
Um, and that's where she went wrong. And then responding to people and just it just always makes things worse, especially on Twitter. You're never gonna get anything from that. But I understand where the thought came from.
Oh, I mean the follow up to that. Once people started to put their foot on her neck, I'm not here to fight anyone's battles. If slash since women hear the stories, they should avoid that street. Therapy for every damn body. I agree with that.
True. We
Therapy
love
for everybody.
therapy.
Therapy. But then followed it up with this made me giggle. And I caution those who refuse to forgive because they will undoubtedly need forgiveness at some point in their lives. We're all flawed and need help. Power to people who move past violence. The past is a terrible reminder, and the future is ours.
The issue though is that this isn't the past. Chris is still a
Uh-huh.
everything that he's always been. Nothing has really changed with him. He still breeds negativity into the world very often and is not someone that is to be trusted in the sense when it comes to especially relationships and I mean even the diss was talking about a woman that neither of them boys are with. So it's
Oh,
like
sweetie.
there's still some I'm Chris ain't all the way right. And that's why my spirit can't always get with him.
Mhm.
But I can also turn my head and look at the facts and know that he is talented and see that, yeah, I didn't know he could rap like this either and go against rappers. Like I get that train of thought. But yeah, Miss Jill, you should have just said your little thing and went on about it because then she started talking about her mom's
Her
ex-husband
stepfather who
and
abused her.
idea of what she was saying, but it just doesn't work on the internet. It
No.
takes a lot of logic to and a lot of maturity to understand and look at that as something worth even bringing up because
Hmm.
it's way too easy to poke holes in and
Yep.
it's flawed thinking, but I understand why she would express that.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's just like whenever a musician starts to get political, I there's a time and a place for it, and not everybody has to say everything. Uh, yeah, it's a weird hill for someone like Jill Scott to go out and die.
Listen, I don't think she's dead. That
She ain't, no, she
that
ain't dead.
lady is so talented. That voice, like, please, I love Jill Scott.
Did you
I
see
just
the
think some
clip of her
conversation
at
is
a recent
needed.
concert?
Oh, I did. What happened though? It was
It was the very end of it. She was like, "Well, guys, this is the last song. We're finished for the night." And somebody was like, "Oh," and she said, "What?
oh
I just sang 16 fucking songs for y'all. What are you talking about?" It's like, I like that. I like that.
yes. Keep it real. And
Right,
I don't
right.
mind that she's expressing the way that she's thinking and feeling, but I think that she's wrong in certain aspects and I hope that she's open to conversation about it. And my thing is like I don't mind people being wrong. I don't mind them having an opinion that doesn't fit into what is the norm or what is respected in our society these days, but
Mhm.
just be open to having conversation about it and understanding why people might disagree with you, but Twitter's never the place for that because it's never like a
You're
good
not going to get
place
your point
for a
across in
good
140
conversation.
characters.
No, it just people love to just shit on people and to just talk down and to be like gotcha moments are like currency in that space.
Yes.
So it's a tough place to have a mature conversation.
Yeah, it's like why even put yourself at the risk of this whole cancel culture nonsense that we live in? Just also, has he done anything to warrant this? Is there a new album that I don't know about?
Well, he did release the album, but he released the song, like a diss song towards Quavo, like last week. And so
Right.
I think that's what she heard, which
Okay.
was So she turned on, I guess she listened to the song and was like, oh, because a lot of people reacted that way. They were like, Chris ate that. They were like, I didn't know Chris had that in him. And
Uh-huh.
so I understand people listening to that and listening to a straight up rap song in a rap battle from
Uh-huh.
Chris Brown and being like, I didn't know he could rap like that. Like that is a logical thought to me. So I understand that portion of it. But bringing all the rest of the stuff, girl, you should have kept that locked up in a little chest. But
Keep, keep that close to the chest, just
we
under
move
wraps.
on.
And then last bit of music news. She's done it again.
She has.
Taylor Swift has another new album. How many albums does she have at this point? Double digits?
I think this is number 11 of like original studio albums, and I
Okay.
think there are four of the re-records, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, she's definitely double digits these days.
And it autofills. How many albums does Taylor Swift have? 11 studio albums, four re-recorded, five EPs, and four live albums. Jesus, girl. Go back to school or something. Like focus your energy on something
Not a
else.
degree.
Get a go to DeVry University. I will
Not
say
education connection.
I will say I haven't had a chance to sit down and listen to the album because, like Rihanna, Taylor is a singles girl for me.
Hmm.
Uh, I haven't really listened to a full Taylor album since like Red. I think that was like,
Really?
yeah, it's been a minute. Um, but I was listening to my Spotify the other day and just doing the autoplay, letting it take me on a journey. And the song Florida came on,
Hmm.
featuring Florence Welch. And that was a nice surprise.
It was interesting. I like the song. I like Florence on the song a lot. It wasn't my favorite on the record, but I do
Okay.
think it was interesting.
What's your favorite on the record?
I'm still trying to figure that out, honestly. I do really like uh well, I forgot. Listen, I'm not the biggest Swiftie, but I like to give everybody a chance.
Uh-huh.
But I have a very strange relationship with her because some albums I'm absolutely obsessed with, and then I'm like completely off the next go round.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm still working on this one. But there are definitely some songs that I've listened to that I've enjoyed. Let me pull it up real quick and see what it's called.
I mean, while you're looking that up, I will say Florence Welch, I enjoy more as a producer and a writer than I do a vocalist. She has a song called Shatter with an artist named Maggie Rogers. Uh, it's not on the most recent Maggie album because that came out like a month ago, but the one prior to that, uh,
Mm,
that is, it's amazing. It is just one of those songs.
I'll have to check it out. I really like the alchemy on the album. I think it's one of the songs about the man she's Travis.
Okay,
Um, and then I'm the single is growing on me. Fortnite with Post Malone. It's starting to come around for me a little bit. Um,
I can't with Post. I don't know what it is. I
and
think it's
But
the
Daddy, I
whole.
Love Him has been kind of good for me a little bit too.
Okay, I think with Post
Um,
it's the whole bait and switch that we got.
I don't want to get into it
It's
because
just
it
something
pisses me
about him.
off.
I'm like, you're slimy. I don't know what. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I think I'm not the biggest Swiftie, but I respect what Taylor brings to the music industry and
Uh-huh.
to the like music consumption in general. I'm a massive proponent for physical media,
Yes.
and she shifted like she did over 1 million copies in just physical media, which is kind of unheard of these days.
Yes.
And
It's everything
debuted with
streaming.
like exactly, she's debuted with like 2.6 million copies the first is that 2.6 million copies the first week, which is insane. Like
Yeah.
it's a massive number, but I'm very happy that she didn't touch Adele's record. So that's what I was worried about because I feel like the only thing Taylor hasn't been able to reach is that Adele number. And I feel
Mhm.
like that's what she's been pushing for. and why she tried to set up this album release to really maximize in every avenue that she could. And she almost got there. I mean, like she needed a million more, but that's a lot closer than anybody else has gotten. So
I mean,
2.6
2.6
is
million
nothing to
is
scoff at.
that's 2.6 million more than I've ever sold.
Not too much. We'll get
I had to
there.
give my albums away to the drive-through ladies.
Hilarious. Listen, it takes some work. It takes
It's
work.
called groundwork.
It's called the groundwork. We got to get them grassroots going.
Hmm. Going through the
But no,
Wendy's and be like, "Thank you for my nuggets. Would you like a CD?"
but
Tracy.
no. The poet lady, she definitely is in an amazing space of her career, and it's cool to watch anybody in the imperial moment
Oh
and to
yeah,
really like take that in. So
yeah.
no, I'm happy for her.
It'll definitely be a showdown between her and Beyonce next year at the Grammys.
Ugh, I'm not ready. The Swifties are already on my nerves, and I don't know if I can deal with coming February.
Careful. The Swifties are gonna start doxing you.
They probably will. But
They,
listen, and the thing is, I've been around the Taylor situation since day one. I being in Nashville, I've seen the entirety of her career. I don't care
Mhm.
about no Swiftie. I am allowed to be in the space and share my opinion, and I'm gonna do so.
You heard it here first, folks. James is willing to throw hands if you're a Swiftie.
Stop now. We don't need to fight. I have many Swiftie friends. And I do my best to love. I'm a big fan of folklore. That brought me back
Okay,
into the Taylor Swift orbit, and I was completely on board. Did not like Evermore, but I enjoyed Midnights,
not
and
too
the
much.
poetry moment is something.
Uh-huh.
We're perusing, but the jury is still out.
All right. Well, let's take a quick break and we'll be back with our music recommendations for this week. And we're back with Can't Get You Out of My Head. I'm here with my guest, James. Earlier in the episode, we gave our picks for the week, songs that we just can't stop listening to, artists that we can't stop listening to. I picked an adorable little thing named Griff. And for this week, my recommendation, if you already know Griff but are looking for similar artists, is actually a young lady named Chappell Roan.
Mm.
Have you
She's been
heard of
having a
her?
moment. Yeah.
She's having a moment. I remember finding her in like 2021 with Pink Pony Club. Pink Pony Club. I'm gonna keep on dancing at the Pink Pony Club. That song. All about being a stripper. Why not? But she does a really good job, and this is going back to the Jojo Siwa thing, of how she talks about being a queer woman and how like weaving the story about being that person, being attracted to the same sex and all the things that come with it, but still making it fun. Like she
Mm.
has a song called Red Wine Supernova. Have you heard of
Hmm.
this?
I have. I listened to the record and I enjoyed it.
Uh, I once again Spotify did me right because I told it to play Griff, and then once it ran out of Griff songs, it played Red Wine Supernova. And I was like, I have never heard this song before. It's incredibly adorable. And I mean, she was a Playboy, Bridget Bardot. She showed me things I didn't know. I mean, what else? What else? What else?
I need to get into it more. I need to listen to it again, but I've really enjoyed and I loved seeing the chatter around her.
Yeah.
Her Tiny Desk had a great moment and
Mhm.
her Coachella set was really popular too. So she's buzzing right now.
I'm your pop star's favorite pop star. and I'm going to serve what all of you are. Cut! That was strange. But the bridge for Red Wine Supernova, let's go back to my house. I've got a California King. Okay, maybe it's a twin bed and some roommates. Don't worry, we're cool. I heard you like magic. I've got wand and a rabbit.
Oh,
You nasty
hocus
bitch.
pocus, ma'am.
Nasty bitch. She's a yes, the album, the was it? The Fall of a Midwest Princess,
Something like that.
something like that. Very good. She reminds me of, and don't want to compare, but it's like if Sarah Bareilles and Kesha had a baby,
Hmm.
because it's like the lyrics are good. The song Coffee, heartbreaking. Uh, but then you also have Red White Supernova and the first song Feminine,
Yeah,
however
phenomenon
you
or
say
something
that,
like that.
uh, where the chorus starts with hey mister, play a song with a fucking beat, and it gets progressively zanier each time she says it. And just like it gives me Kesha, but then also heartfelt, like Sarah Bareilles
I
would
see
say.
that. I
Yeah.
think the Kesha comparison is really interesting too. 'Cause for me, and it has nothing to do with Sonics or anything to do with like what the music sounds like, but her
Hmm.
moment kind of reminds me of Lana Del Rey's entry to the music.
Ooh, okay.
And it's more so like she's embodying a lane that's very hers. And I think the zany word is really a great word for that too.
Hmm.
And but there's really nobody, like I'm not seeing anybody that's doing exactly what she's doing and
Right.
presenting it the way that she's doing. And
Right.
I think it stands out in a very eclectic way, which is working for her.
Yeah. Because I mean, it also comes across as almost like what Gaga was at the beginning, before it started to feel forced.
Hmm.
Like she was trying to be eccentric. It's like you could have just kept the little lightning bolt and the blunt, blonde bob, uh, and been just fine.
Yeah,
But yeah, Chappell Roan is. I'm interested to watch her trajectory to
me
see if
too.
she can get into the upper echelon of the entertainment, or if she sort of stays C B list semi underground.
And that's another thing, a reason why I compare it to Lana Del Rey is because I feel like Lana opened up the space for a lot of specifically female artists to be a little more underground, but have like a
Uh-huh.
cult following,
Yeah.
and it be fully comparable to anybody else and like respected. And so I kind of see her falling into that same space, kind of with, even though Charlie XCX is definitely in a bigger space. But there's a lot of girls in that world that aren't quite the upper echelon, like you said, but are still
Right.
making a way for themselves. And I could
Yeah.
see her falling into that.
All right. Well, you mentioned Tori Kelly as your pick earlier
I
in the
did.
episode. Who would be your recommendation for the listeners?
So my recommendation for the week is a new artist named Tyler Lewis.
Hmm.
She is um a singer, and she's been working with British producer Emily K, and she's like one of the
Love.
first signings to his new label, and I think they're doing something interesting. Emily K has been very in his early 2000s bag, and he's been
You're
doing a
right.
lot of great stuff with Flow. He is amazing. He's
He's
been
the one
doing
that wrote
incredible.
all the songs for Drag Race UK.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I wanna break up. Bye
yeah.
bye. Like, and it's like there's a reason that the Drag Race UK songs are infinitely better than the US versions.
Not too much on the US versions.
I'm
Leland does a good job here too.
baby. I'm just
And Leland did
saying.
stuff in the for Drag Race UK too. Like you what is it, UK Hun? Is that what it was called?
That was
I don't remember what
season
the song.
two.
Yes, I think so. Or there was a song that was popular that was great that I know he did. So
Oh,
listen, the Drag
but
Race
it's
songs
Break
are,
Up Bye
are
Bye. It was
fine.
the first season.
I don't remember, but
It'll be on the
yes.
playlist.
Um, But no, Tyler Lewis, she just released her first single this year. One of my
Mhm.
friends was really obsessed with her. She would post a lot of covers on her Instagram and he would send it to me all the time.
Okay.
And then she finally has stepped into her own and is releasing music. And she has a song called Fly on the Wall and Downtime. But my suggestion is Downtime as the one that I would recommend because I've really enjoyed that record.
Oh, she's adorable. And from
Yeah, she's
London, see, the
yeah,
US. I'm sorry, Europe.
the
Jesus.
UK.
They do it right in Europe.
Yeah, but she's just getting her career off. And
Huh.
what are you shocked at?
I'm just looking at her Spotify page, and her bio says, "I'm a fan of Luther Vandross, Babyface, Silk Sonic, and Duran Duran." Three out of those four are comparable.
Duran Duran kind of comes out of the blue.
Yeah, a little bit.
But
Okay.
no,
Okay.
she's
Yeah.
she's she's really cool. I think she has a very cool voice.
Uh-huh.
And I love that they're keeping with this early 2000s vibe
Yes.
and it's working for me. So I'm happy that she's out and doing some solo projects and I'm excited to see what comes of it and how she evolves.
There's something about the 2000s that are just, I mean, I hate to date myself here, but it's nostalgic.
It is. And
It's
that's
it,
why Tori Kelly was my pick too. And I kind of put them together because Tori's album is very in the early 2000s vein as well. She's kind of done a pivot away from, singer-songwriter with a guitar and has
yeah.
gone kind of full pop, but also not so much at the same time. It's a cool vibe. It's a cool mix of a bunch of different things, but all kind of focused in the early 2000s vibes and kind of a mix of boom bap. And she did the project with John Bellion, and it's just a dope a dope sound to me. So
Hell
yeah,
yeah.
both of my picks are kind of early 2000s oriented and yeah, it's some good stuff out here this year.
Yeah, and both of my picks are just good old pop girlies who put their feelings into to danceable music.
And we love to hear that.
We love to like I would love Griff to actually come across the pond and tour the States. That would be great.
I would love to see it too. I need to get into her music more because I only think I know that one song, the Vertigo song,
Oh,
but I haven't like explored deeply, but I
check
like
out
her
Black Hole. That one's great. Astronaut, if you want to like sob to yourself in the bathroom.
very much a crier.
I'm just empathetic. I don't even have to be in the situation, but I can listen to it and just be like, oh my God, my heart's breaking.
Absolutely. Very me. The Pisces in me is that all day.
Yes. Well, James, thank you for coming on the pod today. Did you have a good time with us?
I did. Thank you for having me. I love nothing more than to talk about music, talk about pop music, talk about any and all of it. So this has been a joy, and I appreciate you
That's
making the
what we're
space for
here
me.
for. We're here to talk about the songs that we love, the songs that we dislike, the groups of fans that we dislike. Remember, Swifties. James said that he would throw hands with any of you at any given time. He is about that life.
I listen. I went to the Eras tour, and the Swifties were so lovely to
Oh,
me.
don't try to reason it now.
I'm just saying. No, I like I said, love and hate, but I have nothing against the Swifties most of the time.
Just when they
But
start
they
doing
were
too
really sweet to
much.
me. They like gave me glasses and were like, "You can hang out with us." They were so sweet. It was a very sweet experience
Hmm.
because I was by
Well,
myself, and so they were just so lovely. But yes, continue.
it was just nothing but sundresses and boots. That's what I'm picturing.
No,
Lots of
it was
sundresses.
a lot going on.
Lots of sundresses. Well, if our listeners want to find you on the socials, where can they find you, babe?
You can find me on Instagram and on Twitter or X, which I refuse to call it, at James Derry'l, and that's Derryl.
I'd love to see it. You can find me on the
Yes.
socials, the underscore Dylan underscore Michael. You can follow the podcast at Can't Get You Out of My Head podcast on Instagram. Don't have a Twitter yet, but you can follow us on YouTube and SoundCloud as well. And I think that's a wrap for this week's episode. We'll be back next week to talk some more shit. uh,
Yes,
have some more picks. And James, please come back. This was fun.
for sure. It
I
was
would
fun. Have
love
me anytime.
I would love for you and Aston to chat. She's a fun kind of gal.
I would love to meet her.
Yeah, come on back anytime, babes.
Can't wait.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. Until next time.